All vids 090 back here with another video today, and in today's video this is my Brisbane Broncos 2021 season preview. Now look, for the last couple of years now the Broncos have been pretty successful. I reckon they've always been a pretty consistent finals team. They've always been a pretty solid side that have always been always a consistent in terms of finals, like I've said. And look, they've always been a pretty champion looking side, the Broncos, but then just in 2020, obviously 2020 was a complete fail of a year. I mean, maybe a lot happened during COVID. I think during the COVID break, obviously something did not happen right for the Broncos in terms of maybe during COVID, and I don't know, just things did not look right. I mean, like there's a lot of off-field drama for the Broncos last year in 2020. A lot of disruptions with Anthony Seibold, their former coach, who's now sacked. He works as a consultant role at the Newcastle Knights now. Anthony Seibold. His relationship with a couple of players wasn't that good, I don't think. I think there was a time where I think the Broncos players or squad had to put their hands up to see who accepts Seibold as a coach, and then I don't think many players did, or maybe no one did put their hand up for Anthony Seibold to stay or something. I don't know, but as far as I knew, the respect wasn't really there for Seibold, and obviously now they got Kevin Walters as a club legend. We'll see what he can bring back to this Broncos club. Obviously, with a lot of great success, he's had Kevin Walters, and see if he can replicate that back at the Broncos, because Broncos are a pretty good club themselves. So we'll see how they go this year in 2021. But I think it's going to be a very interesting year for the Broncos, since coming off the year they had last year. I think it's going to be an interesting year, but hopefully better for them and their fans. Now, let's get into it. So this is my team I pick personally. Now, this is my team I pick if I was in charge. Just in my opinion, what I'd pick if I had to. So fullback, Jamayne Sarko. The wingers are David Mead and Xavier Coates. The centres are Tony Staggs and Herbie Farnworth. The halves are Anthony Milford and Tom Dearden. The props are Matthew Lodge and Payne Haas. The hookers, Jake Turpin. The back rows are Jordan Ricky and Alex Glenn. And lock, Tavita Pangai Jr. And off the bench, 14, Corey Pakes. 15, Patrick Carrigan. 16, John Asiata. And 17, Thomas Flegler. And the coach, Kevin Walters. So, I look at that team and I don't think it's bad. I look at that team and I don't think it's pretty. I don't think that team's bad, actually. I think it's a pretty solid side. Actually, I mean, a lot of inexperience, of course, but overall, actually, I don't mind that side. I think it's a pretty good side on paper from what it looks like. I mean, you got guys like Alex Glenn, Jamayne Sarko, I guess Matt Lodge. They're all pretty experienced, and so is Milford. I mean, Milford can be occasionally good when he's on. You got the young talent like Tony Staggs, Herbie Farnworth, Jordan Ricky, who I think will have a big future in the NRL, I reckon. And you got Jake Turpin, Corey Pakes, two good young hookers, and Patrick Carrigan. So they got and Thomas Flegler, really good front row, I rate. So they got a lot going for them heading to this year. The Broncos, they've actually got some pretty good players and a lot of potential, I reckon. The Broncos, some of those young players. Here's their depth now. Here's the depth for the Broncos in 2021. So Brody Croft, Dale Copley, Tessie New, Jesse Arthurs, Richard Kenner, Ethan Bullimore, Keenan Palacia, Kobe Hetherington, Reece Kennedy, and Albert Kelly. So their depth, it doesn't seem to be great, in my opinion. I don't think there's enough depth in the forward pack, especially. The halves depth isn't that great either. I mean, Brody Croft, he can be good, but he's not great. Albert Kelly, the thing about Albert Kelly is he's not officially in the Broncos top 30 squad, but I reckon he will very soon. But depth isn't the best thing for the Broncos, though, in my opinion. Now, flip over to their strengths in 2021. So here's some of the Broncos' strengths heading to 2021, in my opinion. A very strong young forward pack is a big strength for the Broncos, and also it has massive potential. So I reckon the young forward pack the Broncos have a really strong caliber of young forwards like Thomas Flegler. I think Flegler has a big future in the NRL. I really like what I saw from him in a struggling Broncos side in 2020. I think he went really well off the bench. They've also got Jordan Ricky now. Just last night's game with the Maori All-Stars and versus Indigenous, Jordan Ricky was an absolute star. He looks so strong, Jordan Ricky. He just makes him really strong. His leg drive carries really strong. He just seems like a really talented player, and I think he will feeling really well for Dave Fifita, I reckon. So he's got a big future. In my opinion, Jordan Ricky, he's good. And, they've also got guys like Payne Haas. Payne Haas is obviously a quality front row. I mean, his off-season has been great. So let's hope he can just, let go of the past, of the horror pre-season he had, and focus on some good footy in 2021, because he's a great player, Payne Haas. who else they've got? They've also got guys like, Patrick Carrigan, who I thought really stood up for a young kid. A young kid going through all that drama last year, the Broncos in 2020. He really stood up and he really spoke well. I thought Patrick Carrigan in a couple of press conferences I realised last year. He looked good, Patrick Carrigan. I really like the kid actually. Seems to have a lot of good potential, I think. So that's a strength of mine for the Broncos in 2021. The weaknesses. Now, here's some of their weaknesses for mine. Inexperienced backs and their depth's a bit of a weakness in my opinion. So I'll go through why. Now, starting off with the inexperienced backs, so I just think that maybe Herbie Farnworth, I know he's good. I know in some games he has played really well, but he's inexperienced and he's still learning as a player. I don't think he's one of those quality backs yet, but he's good with potential, of course. But he's inexperienced still. I mean, Xavier Coates, now he's a star. He'll be one of the best. I think he'll be one of the best wingers in the coming years. But he's inexperienced as well. He needs more game time, I reckon. But he's got freakish potential to be really good, I reckon. That's Xavier Coates. Tony Staggs, well, I think Tony Staggs, I know he's young, but he's played quite a bit of first grade games already, so I think he's just fine, I reckon. And now the halfback Tom Dean. Now, a lot of eyeballs will be on Tom Dean heading to this year. I think a lot of people would be watching to see how he leads this Broncos team, especially if he's the halfback for the team. Of course, you're going to be the guy leading the team in terms of attack and all that. Tom Dean, we'll see how he goes. I hope he goes well. I think he's a good young kid. He seems to give it a go every game I saw last year for him in 2020. So I think Tom Dean should go well this year. But again, young kid under a lot of pressure. So we'll see how he goes. But that's what I think right there with inexperience in their backs and all that. The depth isn't that great. I think the hooker depth's good in terms of because their depth. They've got Jake Turpin, Corey Pace, and Kobe Harrington as backup hookers or hookers themselves playing the starting team. Just the back. I just think the forward pack depth isn't that great. I mean, they don't have much depth in the back rows, I don't think. Maybe in the halves it isn't great either. I mean, what happens if Tom Dean goes there? Who replaces him? Brody Croft, but not great replacement. And I mean, what happens if what happens in the forward pack if Payne Haas and Alex Len both went down for a game? Like, who replaces them then? I mean, I guess Flegler could step up, but then who's going to come off the bench, So maybe just a bit of the depth for the Broncos is a bit of a problem. I could be wrong there, but I think the depth is a little bit concerned for mine. The best signing, now, the Broncos haven't made any big signings, in my opinion, heading to this year. But if I had to pick one, it'd probably David Mead. I think David Mead's their best signing. I mean, he's not officially in the top 30 squad yet for the Broncos, but like I said with Albert Kelly, he probably will be there soon. I think David Mead, he's always been a quality player. I think he's always been playing really well since he was at the Titans. Where else did he play? I think he played the Broncos in 2017 for a short stint before he went to England. Look, he's a good player, David Mead. He's always quality. I think he's always been a very safe player who's always given him a go. He knows how to find a try, David Mead. He seems to have a good record in terms of try scoring. Very good player. I think he'll go well for the Broncos if he gets selected on the wing for the Broncos. I think he's going to have a great year and he's experienced as well, which helps, I think. So I reckon he'll have a good year at the Broncos when he comes back. And the worst loss, well, it's a bit of a no-brainer. That's David Fifita. But I feel like that very soon, if Jordan Ricky stands up, I think all Broncos fans will forget who David Fifita even was, to be honest. Because if Jordan Ricky's good form coming up continues to go ahead in 2021, I think Ricky's a good replacement for Fifita. But no doubt saying that David Fifita's a huge loss for the Broncos heading into this year. Obviously, it's a very freakish, very strong, powerful back rower who I think will have also a very successful long-term NRL playing career. He's such a freakish player, and look, it's a massive loss to the Broncos because obviously he's one of their local juniors, I think. And he's always been at the club since he was a young kid, so look, it's a big loss there for Fifita, but we'll see how he goes at times and how Broncos replace him. Now, the player that needs to step up for the Broncos is in 2021, in my opinion. Now, I hear it every single year with this guy, and he needs to step up this year. This year, he needs to step up, because if he doesn't step up this year, I reckon he'll go, and that's Anthony Milford. Now, my good mate, who usually comments on my channel, is called Beavers. He used to be called Cornholio. Now he went to change his name on YouTube to Beavers. He's a diehard Broncos supporter. He obviously likes Anthony Milford, and I think he's hoping Anthony Milford has a big year himself, and I hope myself as well. I hope Anthony Milford goes well. Look, it depends how he goes. I mean, he could be really hot and cold. He's a very rocks and diamonds sort of player. Rocks, he can be bad, and diamonds, he can be good. I don't know. He just needs to remain consistent. That's the only thing about Anthony Milford. He needs to remain consistent every game. I don't know. Like, he's good occasionally, but then some other games he goes missing and just doesn't show up, which is really disappointing. So we'll see how Anthony Milford goes in 2021. But I believe 2021 is his make or break because he's off contract this year. So if he doesn't play well, I think he'll get the release or something. My ladder prediction for the Broncos in 2021, I've got them finishing 14th. Now, I'm sorry to all my Broncos fans that are watching the channel. I'm really sorry about that. But I think they can. I think they have the potential to finish higher than 10th. I think. Depends if Cameron Smith goes. If Cameron Smith ever goes to the Broncos, I think they're a top 8 team for sure. But look, I think at the moment Broncos 14th. I think they've got a long way to go, but they're not too far because they've got some good young players coming up. A lot of things right for them in the future, but I just feel like give them a bit of time. I don't expect much of the Broncos since coming off the wooden spoon last year. They're obviously going to have to improve quite a bit in some certain areas, so give them time, I guess. But they're a good team on the rise. But guys, that's the end of the Broncos 2021 season preview. Hopefully enjoyed. Please like, comment, subscribe to the channel, and I'll catch you tomorrow, Monday, for more videos.